Steve's on his way. He went and he was busy calling me. That's why he's later. Trying to make sure I was here, but I was just a minute late.
Good evening.
Good evening, Stephen.
Hello.
I apologize. I didn't do the minutes. I put the reminder to next week for some reason. Hopefully we'll get back onto the 2-week schedule again because we've been off of it. And I looked at Anna's email and I said, "Oh, I gotta write a reminder because that's how it pops up on my phone." And I do all these things, and it's for next week. Don't know why. So
Off schedule.
yeah.
Steve is just leaving Worcester. So he won't, I don't think he's gonna make it.
Worcester.
Worcester. He's at his tree warden class.
I was
He's
gonna
our
say, wasn't that where he was last time?
Yep, Wednesdays.
And what do you get out of that class? A certificate, or do you become a bona fide tree person?
Well, he already has a degree from Stockbridge.
Uh-huh.
He went to the forestry school at UMass.
Ah.
So he's getting his refresher course.
He wants to have a second career after the super job is retired from. He wants to go into tree.
Well, actually, tree wardens are typically part of highway departments.
Ah.
Many towns, that's one thing that he's been learning too, but it's so part of what the personnel board did was blend the tree warden job into his position as highway superintendent.
I remember the tree warden in Wendell when they did the power line expansion, whatever they were doing there, went down and marked all the trees and how contentious it was. Because they took a couple of them, they changed them. Well, the owners got to change their minds because there was some very old growth maples that people still harvest in front of people's houses, but they were earmarked to come down, 3-foot wide maples, and they got to stay, which was nice.
Great. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 5:35. And we have Frank McGinn, Jeff Quackenbush, and Becky Torres in attendance. Since we have no minutes to review, I was wondering if, Jeff, you had an opportunity to get plans and then to talk to that architectural firm in Greenfield.
Let's take it in opposite order. The architectural firm in Greenfield, I sent them an email, copied Becky. And they responded back that they're not interested. So I've contacted 3 firms, and Gale being one of them. It looks like Gale's the only firm we have that's interested in doing the project. Would you concur with that, Becky?
Yeah.
Yep. So in regards to the plans, if Gale's the firm we're going to hire, which we haven't decided that, then I don't know if we need bigger plans or not. Becky, can you print those at 11 by 17?
Well, I thought I got the email out to you guys. They mailed me larger plans. They've been sitting in my office.
Oh, the last email I've got asked if I wanted to have them send email or send plans.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Okay.
guess I didn't get that one out, or I sent it to the wrong place. But I have them sitting next to my printer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here's the plan.
Awesome.
How many copies?
I think I asked for 6. I think
Okay.
that whatever you guys had said at the meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, are you going to be
And they
there on
are
Friday?
almost readable, Jeff.
They're almost readable?
Well, some of the larger type is, but like where it says some wood trim. Yeah, it's still, so they just enlarged the old bad file. So some of it like top of the block and floor. Yeah, elevation 100 inches. It's better. It's definitely better.
Okay, are you gonna be there on Friday?
Yep.
Okay, I'll stop by and pick up a set.
Okay. I bet you that's gonna be one of those emails I wrote and I didn't send it. Damn.
I'd have to look, but I do remember you sending an email and saying if anyone wanted the plans, and I don't remember what all was in it. I'd have to find it and look at it. So you may have sent it, or at least to me.
Oh, good.
So you may not have forgotten totally.
Yeah, that's scary when you remember doing stuff and then it's not all the way done. But it happens.
So I guess, Jeff, you'll take a look at those and should we all take a look at those? Or is that
Well,
something?
Since we have 6 sets, we can all take a look at them, but I guess the question begs is, are we gonna hire Gail to prepare documents? Because if that's the case, then I think we ought to use those documents when we talk to them.
So maybe we should all go over them and discuss what we want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And the answer to Jeff's question, Becky, was you'll be there Friday?
Yep.
Okay. So I have to come up to the library at 12:15 to meet Mary Ann to do some race prep work.
Some what kind of work?
You know, what is it? The turkey trot,
Oh, okay,
doing some volunteer work to help them with that.
okay.
Do you
Well,
want to schedule next week time to get together to look at the plans on site? Would that work?
I think, well, why don't we see what the plans, how clear they are to look at? And then kind of go from there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm willing to
Tuesday of
meet.
next week is going to be a beautiful 36 degrees and clear.
What day?
Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 54 on Friday though.
Which Friday?
This coming Friday.
Okay,
Right.
And then we
Monday
go
and
back.
Tuesday are now the hopeful days of Locks Pond getting paved.
Oh, why not Thursday? Friday. Friday's a beautiful day.
It was originally pushed to the end of this week, and then I walked down there today and talked to the super, and he said the paving company is pushed back till Monday or Tuesday. Had you got that info yet, Becky?
Yes, Scott called me yesterday, late afternoon and said he had just heard that they're not coming today. They were supposed to come today.
Yeah, but they did mill the road.
Yeah, I was down there this morning. I talked to Billy some more. It's just really frustrating because Bill's going to be gone next week. So it's going to be a new foreman for the final step of the project. And it shouldn't be a big deal, but I just have, it just stinks that they couldn't get it done this week.
A friend of ours, Wayne, in Wendell, works for asphalt company, does all the trucking, and this is the worst time of the year for him. The minute it goes into the 20s for one time, everyone orders everything, even though it's been pre-planned. And the plant goes to 24 hours a day, and they just try 18-hour days, and they just try to ship as much as possible. Because when they have so many cold days in a row, they just shut it down. Because everyone's.
Are you guys available Friday to go to the school and look at the drawings at the same time? I'm talking day after tomorrow, Friday, since it's going to be warm.
I could do that, like 2-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I'm going to be involved with Mary Ann. a meeting at 12:15. I would say 2-ish sounds doable. But
Temporarily, tentatively set it up for 2 o'clock Friday,
sure,
and then I'll pick up some drawings anyways, at least in the morning.
Yeah, after 2 will be 55 degrees.
And that's, yeah. So today Billy told you Monday or Tuesday?
that's what he said.
See, this is what, once they start saying the ors, I totally lost confidence. You know, I have absolutely no confidence that they're going to make it, and it's not good. But they've been so helpful. It's not their fault, I guess.
Right.
But I really wish I could think of a way to get them here on Friday.
Yeah. Okay, I've got some other things here to talk about. West Schoolhouse number 2. Who's responsible for the repairs? Because at a meeting I went to, a Zoom meeting a month or so ago, Miriam DeFont was thinking that it was the Historic Commission's responsibility to take care of the repairs.
You mean pay for them?
Well, maybe that too. Yeah, because I think I was told that they were gifted $2,500 for repairs. And I met last week, I think it was last week, with Russ Wilson and Bert Fernandez, who's a member of the Historic Commission. And Russ's guesstimate for, the cost of repairs to the 2 areas, the entry door and then that corner, was, $2,000 to $3,000. But I didn't know, it's considered a town building, correct?
Yep.
So logically, the town's responsible. Yes?
Well, yes, the town is responsible for the building. The Historic Commission, this subject came up with Leslie Bracebridge, who had been on the Historic Commission for about 30 some years. And she's currently an associate non-voting member. But when it came up with Leslie, she said that basically the Historic Commission kind of assumed responsibility. It's not deeded to them. I mean, the town owns it. Historic Commission doesn't own it. So if they're, do you know when you say $2,500 was gifted for repairs, what does that mean? Is it a new amount of money in the Historic Commission's account?
I don't honestly know, but I got the impression that it was new money. But I don't know. You'd have to talk to them.
Yeah, because they are blowing through all their money on the guide board at.
Oh, right.
I'm sorry.
Signed $18,000 contract. Well, the select board signed it, but they brought it forward to the select board. They got a $10,000 CPC grant. But they've decided to go with this more expensive route and use the funding that took the old Historic Commission 30 years to accumulate. And they're just about out of money with this project.
Okay.
So, let me see if I can get let me just grab something. So Steve, you're asking that question because was she saying that the building committee shouldn't be involved, or what was?
Well, at the meeting that I attended, when I was talking about report that we had completed. Miriam, was talking about the Historic Commission being responsible. And then I can't remember if I said that I didn't really know the answer to the question about who was responsible, but then Matteo Pangalo apparently pulled up something and said that it showed that it's a town building. It didn't show that, the Historic Commission, say, owned it, had responsibility, whatever. So it was kind of left up in the air.
Yeah. And let me see if I can find their fund.
I was, just looking at our new charge, we're responsible, not the Conservation Commission, because it's a town's building. And that's what the new charge specifically says. Projects that do not include design and or engineering will write up a scope of work for repairs in cooperation with proposed body and use the best procurement practice to solicit bids from contractors and suppliers. In all projects, the town administrator shall coordinate, award, and execute the service of construction contracts with the select board.
Well, it looks like what we need to ask the Historic Commission is whether or not they were, let's say, gifted $2,500 specifically for repairs to schoolhouse number 2.
I see in the budget, there's a West Schoolhouse gift for repairs fund of $1,500.
15, okay.
Yeah, there's $1,500 in the budget. There's $500 for the town pound maintenance and repair.
The town pound? Mm.
Yeah, that's up the street.
Yeah, the round one.
Yep. There's $500 left for the Hers house. And then there's a $3,000 cemetery historic preservation gift. So but that has nothing to do with anything. Okay, that's his cemetery. All right, so where's now I just need to find their regular standing fund. Trail consultant.
I love the round pond. That's one of the, when people visit, I bring them to that all the time. Unique to New England. Us and Leverett have one.
Where is the round pond?
It's down the street from Town Hall.
You're headed towards 202?
It's 202, right at Cooleyville Road, up a little bit to the right. You'll see a stone road there, park on the side. It's in front of someone's house, and it's a beautiful round stone wall built in 1810. The sign, they should spend $500 on the sign because the sign's rotting out.
Okay.
That's a new sign.
What?
That sign was put up like 5 years or 6 or 8 years ago.
I'll look at it then again, but I thought that was one of the things I noticed right away. It really needs to be more prominent. Maybe it just needs to be painted. I don't know, but
That was a yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's a beautiful there's one in Leverett by the elementary school. But it's
Okay.
very unique, so
So just, I noticed that Concom is scheduled at 6:15, kind of in the slot after us. So we have
minutes.
not a whole lot more time. We still have some time. So I have a couple other things I'd like to touch base on.
Wait. Concom, it doesn't matter. Concom is their Zoom link is given by Grace. And we're good till 7 o'clock when I have to open for Board of Health.
Oh, okay. So the colors, when you look at the calendar, and I see there are 2 different colors used for the meetings. And the Concom has the same color as we do on ours. So I was assuming that they would be coming in at 6:15.
Yep, but no, they're not.
Okay. All right. So Steve's not here, but I was wondering if the highway department has secured ladders yet, because I was thinking it's probably about time to check the gutters at our new roof at the elementary school.
I can text him, but he's driving.
Yeah, don't. So we can ask that next time.
And the other side of that question is have we awarded Carl's the pumping out of those?
I called them back and said, but they haven't given me a date.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, they finally came through with, and
Well-
and they didn't really give me a quote. They just gave me their hours, their cost per hour. But they had two new guys that usually don't do this. They're trying to train to do it. So,
Hopefully they'll be low.
yeah, or quick, since it's going to be a cost plus, it'll be time.
Yeah, time and material.
So I think at the last meeting, we talked about the roof leak at Town Hall. Is that right?
Is that the elevator?
And then I went up and put my ladder up and determined that the valley on that little section shoots the water right against the corner post, the vinyl corner post. I'm sorry, the J channel for the siding. And if it's hitting it hard, it's probably going back behind the siding, because that lines up with where the seepage stains and the efflorescence were in the photos that Becky had. So I then wrote a little report, which I got to Becky. And I was wondering, Becky, if you've heard anything from, is it Hayden, the roofer?
I apologize. I haven't gotten to Hayden yet.
Okay. And then,
I did phone them and leave them a message to call me because they're more phone guys, but I haven't heard back yet, but I haven't gotten through to them.
okay, and then there was also the leak at the library. And this is a week or so ago. I met there with Mary Ann and the slate roofer, who turned out to be the son of the original slate roofer, and the son was working for another roofing company, and he had just been laid off. And long story short, the guy has no insurance. So I think Mary Ann touched base with you about that. And I assume that you're not going to use him.
Can't.
So do we now need to find a slate roofer?
Yep.
Is there insurance companies, can't you get like a 1 week insurance and he can put that in the bid?
He
He
needs-
might
I mean,
spend $500 and we can cover his, so he's covered with insurance for just the job.
Frank, his father and grandfather both were involved in the business when we worked with them last time. So I think, if he's just, I rather they decide to be a full business,
Oh, okay.
they
Rather
know
than-
what to do. They know what they have to do. I'm just leery if they're not taking any
yeah.
steps to, it's just, they should have figured that out.
Okay.
I mean, it's tough if you have to tell a contractor how to do his job.
So what we're saying is we can't use this guy at all? Or we can use him once he
Unless
gets
he-
rehired?
He's not insured.
No,
Well,
but
if he gets
was rehired,
rehired, maybe the company that he gets hired by, but he's not working for his dad. His dad's business is no longer operating, from what I understand.
no,
But his dad gave Mary Ann his son's number because he needs work.
Ah, okay. I see.
Yeah, we were initially impressed that he would have been available the following week.
and do we know the name of the company he worked for?
No.
Oh, So we can't contact them to see if they can fix the slate, which means they hire him back for a day or so.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't think to, he was wearing the sweatshirt, the hoodie from the company. But I didn't focus on the name.
Well, if
Okay,
we had a good security system, we'd have photos of him.
Yeah.
We could call him back and ask. I can talk to Mary Ann about doing that tomorrow. You know, it seems like he would get it together with, I just don't want to get in a situation where, you know, he's an independent contractor, but he brings 3 buddies along to do the job. And there's no workman's comp, there's no insurance. And, you know, because when you're in, I've had to throw people out of jobs, and it's not fun. Because they've done exactly that.
What
So
was the
Steve,
old people's last name? Do you know?
I think it's Luce, Luce. I think that was the roofer's name, but I could be pulling out of thin air.
Mary Ann would know.
Yeah, she has their phone number, and I might have it.
and Stephen, do we have a scope of work?
Well, the things, you know, when I went on the day that it was leaking into the library, and when I went up in the attic, the leak that was leaking into the library was occurring from a very specific point on the roof. And, you know, with the sheathing being a plank sheathing, I could look in the gaps between the sheathing, and it was like at a very specific location. It wasn't tracking down because the building paper wasn't a felt paper. It was more like that rosin paper they'll use under oak flooring.
Yeah,
You know, I could see that right above the leak, and none of that was damp. And below it, it wasn't damp. So it's very, you know, I mean, you could probably, if you could determine the exact points by measure, you go up on the roof and it'll be like a very isolated area. But then I also noticed there was some dripping, not a lot, from the ridge on the east side and around the chimney in several places. So that's probably just a matter of some re-caulking would be my guess. But the slate, you know, and then looking at it from outside, just with the binoculars, there was nothing that clearly suggested a cause other than I thought I might have seen a couple of nail pops, but it would surprise me that those nail pops would be allowing the amount of water that was coming in to come in. So somebody'd have to get up there, but it's pretty localized. It's very localized.
okay.
So that probably doesn't answer your question, but I mean,
Well,
I took the guy up there and, you know, showed him before finding out that he was uninsured.
Yeah. Okay, so to move this forward then, we need to find another roofing company that does slate?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, since this gentleman didn't work out, it might be possible to, with my extension ladder, set it so it's runs at the same pitch as the slate and actually go up there and take a look around. But I probably need
A
someone.
volunteer to hold the ladder?
Yeah,
I did a good job last time.
you did.
well, do you want me to try to investigate a slate company?
Sure.
I saw a truck when I was driving through Amherst a few weeks ago on their side, and they said they were slate roof contractors, but I didn't pay attention to.
Right.
Okay, so I'll see what I
Also a
can
few
do.
there's also a few signs on, I think going into Miller's Falls or something, just on the side of the road, slate contractor and a telephone number. That's why I asked about the last name, you know.
I'd be wary of somebody who's posting a sign on a telephone pole.
Yeah, this was on the ground. It was interesting. So yeah. It might have been
And,
at a
and
job. It might have been at a job. I don't remember,
uh,
but
did it have a contractor's name?
I don't remember. I remember it had a telephone number and it said slate roof repair specialist.
Yeah.
Well, we're all specialists.
I know.
Yeah, the likelihood that they can deal with prevailing wage rates and everything else is pretty slim.
Okay, so at last meeting, we talked about the refrigerant line issue on the mini splits.
Mhm.
And I did try calling, was it Western Mass Heating Cooling,
Mhm.
and who had done our install. And I left a message for, I don't know if he's the owner or one of the owners, because I dealt with him before. And he didn't get back to me, and I didn't try calling him again, but I went online and probed around a little. And it seems like these white insulated line sets, some of them have issues.
Mhm.
And some of them, there was one, apparently only had an 18-month warranty. But then there was another one that seemed to also be a problem at times. Mueller is a brand, and they have a 10-year warranty. But what they were talking about seemed like they felt it was some kind of acid response. And when they use this, it's a very simple way to test the pH. It's this tape, like a paper tape, and you slip it into, a slot between the insulation on the refrigerant line. And this assumes there's a little moisture in there. If there isn't, I guess you just pour a little bit of water in there and it will change color and tell you the pH. And so typically what they said is if there was an acid condition, the pipe might have green deposits on it. Because I remember when we talked about this before, it was purple. Wasn't purple what was used?
That's what
So
they
I don't
said.
understand purple, but I mean, because on copper water pipes, whenever there was some kind of acid reaction, it would usually be green or a marine blue-green kind of color. That's what I would see on water pipes. So the purple, I don't understand. But it seemed like, there must have been a bad batch of this. I assume it's the insulation that was the problem. Because in one of these YouTube videos, the gentleman who was investigating this actually took sections of the copper pipe, the bad pipe and new pipe, and took short sections and weighed them to see if there was any significant difference in weight, like it was cheap pipe. And the pipes pretty much weighed the same.
Okay,
So
so
I guess the question is with the line sets that are considered to be problems, are those the ones that the fire department, Becky? Or
that was
they,
the police station.
Police station is in the town hall. So that one, and I think yeah, it's the one to the police station that's on the west side of town hall.
okay. So is it actively leaking? I mean, is the system's working?
It did have a problem. Yeah, it wasn't working in the summer and we had to have them come out and do maintenance on it. And no, I guess it was in the spring. It was in the spring. And that's when he started telling Devin all about the purple lines and how they've been replacing them in other units, that they're going to crap out on us. And then they gave me the quote for like
They-
$3,500.
Right. Um, well, the next time I'm up there, I mean, because that's both those units, the insulation on the outside units was breaking down, you remember? And the
Yep,
pipes
it's all
exposed.
collapsing.
So I could take a look at that, but I guess I don't know if, how proactive, because it's like, okay, let's say they say it's going to be a problem, but when is it going to be a problem?
Well, in Jeff's case, yours were already, didn't you say did you have pinholes when you got it replaced, the lines replaced, or no?
Oh, no, no, the only reason I had it replaced was the insulation broke down and disintegrated. So I didn't have to replace the line sets. I had to replace the insulation. But that's when they started explaining to me the purple.
So they told you the purple as well.
Yeah, PVE told me the purple.
And that this purple would be on the copper pipe?
Yeah,
And I think the one connected to the police is turning purple.
And did he, Jeff, the person you dealt with, did he sort of categorically say that the white insulation was bad? Or was he saying there was?
oh, I knew the white insulation was bad because it disintegrated. It totally
Well, I
disintegrated.
mean, bad in terms of causing this acid reaction.
Yeah, what they said was they're finding that the insulation is reacting with the copper. And that's what's causing the insulation to degrade and it to turn purple.
So they're basically saying that all white insulated line sets are going to potentially have an issue.
Well, I don't know because you just said there were more than one manufacturer of white.
Yeah, well, that's why.
So, and I don't know I have no idea which manufacturer I had.
And how old is your unit that the
About 5
insulation?
years. About 5 years.
And is it get a lot of sun where it's located?
Yeah.
Because mine is somewhat shaded.
Yeah, it gets sun and rain. It's basically from the unit to the inside of the house. Now there's a line that runs underneath the deck, my deck, which of course is protected by the deck. And he said it's okay. So they're implying that sun is breaking down the jacket and the insulation. And in my case, it took place in a matter of 2 months.
Whoa.
Because I had them come out and do, a couple, every other year, cleaning of the system and checking everything out. And that was like in, I don't know, maybe June. And 2 months later is when all of a sudden I saw the insulation had disappeared.
Well, I looked at mine on the inside today, and the insulation runs, fully through the from the mini split to let's say a distribution box. The line set's insulated inside and out. It's not just into the house.
Mhm.
Is yours insulated in the house? Can
Yep.
you tell?
All the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Becky, has anything been done with replacing the insulation for the police station?
No, we haven't done that yet.
So right now, even though it's winter time, there's uninsulated pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also for the assessor's office. That one, I think actually if I remember correctly, the insulation is broken down more on the lines for the assessor's office. Could be wrong, but
Well, kind of sounds to me like we ought to be replacing the insulation at a minimum
Sure
Or-
does.
on the outside.
And I've got to go to the fire station and look at the condition of their insulation and the library as well. And the highway department.
Yeah.
I was at it's probably a month and a half ago at the fire station briefly, looking around a little bit on the outside, and I don't remember the insulation being broken down, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
But I can take a look at those.
And couldn't we have one of our volunteers just get some at Home Depot and keep it for the winter till the black stuff instead of,
Well, one of our volunteers I know is now involved in a project where he won't be available. So unless Russ Wilson is interested, and I could talk to him.
Well, the stuff they replaced it with is not just insulation, it's insulation in a new jacket. And it's a double seam on the jacket, so I don't think going to Home Depot is the answer.
Okay.
Because I think we need the insulation and we need the good quality jacket to keep the moisture out. So,
Did they specify what the insulation material was on the bill they gave you, Jeff?
I mean, what the old was or the new is?
The new with a good quality jacket.
They gave me like 6 extra pieces. So I've got the real McCoy downstairs in the basement.
Oh, cool.
did
Yeah.
you volunteer to go to the fire department or police station and fix it? We could vote
How
on
long are
that.
your pieces?
Yeah.
We,
I think-
we,
I
we
think
could
he's-
vote on that.
Frank, I think you're talking to Stephen, right? Yep.
Well, Jeff, you better bring it over and put it in my basement.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, we got to get our own material. We just need
I'm
to know the
keeping it.
name of it. I just
Yeah.
need to know what the name is. So it's hopefully written on the material.
Yeah, so I'll go check after.
Cool.
Yeah.
If we can figure out how much we need and order some and somebody will step up and
Well,
it's cool.
or we hire somebody to do it because they sealed the ends with silicone. I mean, they did more than just put insulation on it.
So, and the other issue is the town hall ones, we did go to PVE. Originally, their predecessor, the owner prior to PVE, installed our units. Is there any drawback to us doing this part ourselves? It's not like there's a warranty left on.
It's about replacing the insulation ourselves?
Yeah.
Well, I think all we need to do is, if we know the name of the product, then we just go and we find their installation instructions.
Yeah.
And we follow those. And if we do that, we'll be doing the job equal to or better than the HVAC installer.
Okay.
All right.
But with this really cold nights, this is time sensitive.
We
Yeah.
don't want to do it in the middle of the night when it's cold. It'll be too cold to be outside.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the sooner the better, because there's obviously some loss. Okay. I won't say that I'm totally finished with town hall, but I'd say I'm pretty much finished with town hall. I actually did the kitchen the other day, and much to Becky's surprise
Oh my God,
and
who turned on the
pleasure,
dishwasher?
she found out that the dishwasher is, how old did I say? 7 years or something? I mean, it's in the report now, but it's a
No, it
lot
hasn't been
younger
turned on for like
and it
13.
works. I mean, I just ran it through a rinse hold. Um, and it worked without leaking. There's no leaks under the kitchen sink. All the burners on the ancient stove work. The oven works. There's a top and bottom element. The bottom element got red hot. The top didn't, but a lot of times the way the top element comes on, it doesn't necessarily get red hot. But it's an old, 6 burner electric commercial stove. Could be original, I don't know, but it's
Oh
definitely
yeah, it
clean.
is.
Pardon?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And and the sink's original. The Formica countertop that's 6 years old roughly.
No, it's 10.
Okay. Anyway,
10.
I put numbers in the report that you mentioned. And that looks fine. The kitchen cabinets leave a lot to be desired, but they're there. We're not doing entertaining. So, and the refrigerator is working fine. The temperature is down to 5 degrees in the freezer without it being turned up full. It was only about 3/4 full on the thermostat. But the one thing that I realized, so when I was there, I was asking Becky about, and she was questioning how is the heat controlled in the bathroom that's in the addition? Because it's always on.
And the same with
And-
the office right above it.
Right.
Basically, the addition is a mystery to me. I've never been able to find how to regulate the temperature.
Right.
Those two
So-
rooms, they always come on,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to control it.
Yeah. So before I left, I went back into the boiler room. And do you know what a zone valve is, Becky?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you two know what a zone valve is?
Yeah,
Okay. So there are a lot of zone valves because there are all these different zones now in the building. And looking at them, some of the zone valves look quite new and some of them look older. And, zone valves are great as long as they work. So there's always the possibility that the thermostat that's tied in to the bathroom of the addition and the office above is stuck open. There was a thermostat in the hall of the lower level that was turned down low, and I turned it up for a while, and the radiator that's in the lower level hall did not get warm. And then there's a little fan coil unit adjacent to the elevator in the lower level that did not get warm. And I actually tried bleeding that a little bit. I didn't get any air coming out of it. So, so basically, I've identified where all these different thermostats are, but it's another project to try and figure out which zones are actually responding to the thermostats and which aren't. And I was saying to Becky, in my opinion, one of the best times to do some of that is when you don't need heat for the building, because you could just try one thermostat and, you might hear the boiler come on, you might not, but it would be easier to determine what's functioning. I mean, you could still do it now, but we could try that. But at this point, based on the little bit of time I spent with it the other day, the thermostat in the lower level hall doesn't seem to be controlling the radiator in the lower level hall. And then there was a thermostat that I hadn't found before that Becky pointed out. It's another programmable one, and it's in the upper level hall of the addition. It's currently behind a bunch of boxes. And that was the one that I forget what, I think it was turned off. Is that right? I don't remember now, Becky, but
I think it was turned off, but there was heat in that room right next
Yeah.
to it. So it
Yeah.
was like, it's not the thermostat that controls the,
well, it's either not the thermostat or the zone valve associated with it is stuck open.
if it's stuck open, would it ever turn off?
No?
Because this goes on and off. The heat comes on and off in those two rooms. It's not always on. It'll turn, like if it warms up, it'll turn off. And then it'll come on again. So I don't
Yeah.
think it's stuck
So
open.
there's a lot of mystery to how the system is actually working.
Mhm.
Well, I'd
Yeah,
be
that-
willing to go spend an afternoon turning them up and down with you. I know the zone valves, when I had a problem with a zone valve, the guy took his fancy hammer out and hit one a few times.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden he goes, oh, never mind. And I had to replace one valve. And he goes, nope, that one was just stuck open. Don't worry about it. It's probably go back. Had some rust stuffed in it.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Well, there's two-
hey, go ahead.
There's two main things that Jamrog that we've had to have done is we've probably replaced 75% of the valves. There's some that are still old, but over the last 15, 20 years, valves have just blown and we've had to replace
Yeah.
them one by one. Also, the radiators need to get bleeded sometimes,
Right.
like that, like
That's
that.
it. That's something that normally, we can do.
Yeah, and I've had help doing that when we've had trouble with specific radiators.
Right.
It should be
Right
a thing you do every fall, test
Yeah.
the heat, lead the radiators, and then go forward. Yeah.
Well, basically, the first time we turn it on, I kind of run around and make sure everything's working.
Because they complain to you.
Yeah, I don't really have, if I don't get all the way around the building, they'll come to me if it's not working anyway, so. But it's usually the room, the big room, the financial people are in that big, we had to have that big blower one, a radiator that's under the windows. That had to be rebuilt a few years ago.
The fan
So-
closed it.
Mhm.
It's in the metal box, if you will.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So real quick, my story about, it's not a zone valve, but a gas valve. When we bought the camp here, when it was still a camp, there was a propane fired through the wall space heater with a thermostat. And, we'd come up, I'd turn the gas on, I'd turn up the thermostat, nothing would happen, and I would take a pipe wrench and I'd smack the gas valve, sometimes a couple of times, and it would free it up and then it would work fine for the time we were here. I did that, had to do that pretty regularly for a number of years. But yeah, not something that you encourage somebody to do, but I'd seen
Yeah.
enough professionals do that.
So Stephen, wasn't there other mechanical issues that you wanted to meet with Jamrog about in the?
Well,
that
Becky
room?
had them come out and they agreed, if I remember correctly, they agreed that the flue pipe needs to be corrected.
Yeah.
The pitch. But he had an answer for everything. And I'd have to be there and talk to the guy because, my memory is that the boiler was still operating when it was warm out and maintaining temperature. And he says that there's a outside thermometer that determines if the boiler will run or not. So either my memory is incorrect or the outside thermometer is not actually controlling whether the boiler runs or not.
Okay, so these are all open issues still?
Well, that's still a question. You know, the water was turned off to the boiler, and Becky, did you feel he had a answer that made
Had a
sense?
good answer for that one.
Yeah.
He was like, well, it had to be turned off at that point because there was a problem that they had turned it off for, and the season was over.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
that was,
but then that means that they have to come out before the season starts and turn the water back on,
which
which
often
doesn't
they
make,
do. I mean, often they come out, but then they would have had to remember they turned it off.
yeah.
And, it's middle of November. They haven't gotten here yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Personally, I'm skeptical of that response.
yeah, that
I'm
one.
actually skeptical of most of their responses, but at least they agreed that that the flue pipe needs to be corrected, and they're going to do that, I guess, when they come for their regular service.
That's what he told me.
Yeah.
And
Who's the
I-
he?
I'm sorry?
Do we know who the he, do you know who he is?
I'm talking about Jason,
Okay. Okay,
Jason Zapko.
yeah,
But they, what was I gonna say?
I haven't been
I
back.
remember the installation of the outside thermostat. That was part of a Green Communities grant that I got to install all the thermostats that were to control the different zones.
Right. Well, it makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense to have that. But I guess the question I'm raising is it
working?
functioning properly?
Yeah, is it working?
So we can pay closer attention to that to next end of heating season. You know, it's like in the spring, if we get a warm period where it's say 70 degrees and you don't need any heat, that boiler should cool down because it shouldn't run. But if it's maintaining temperature, then there's something amiss. Either the way
On
it's set,
Friday, do you think
Pardon?
Friday at 55 or 60 might be warm enough that
No.
it won't be warm enough to see that happen?
no, you still need heat. You're heating to 65 or 70. So
Right.
no, you need the outside temperature to be quite a bit warmer. And if that unit's working properly, it will actually, depending on the outside temperature, that'll determine how much the boiler is firing. Because if it's really cold, it'll fire more frequently to stay hotter. And if it's a warm, like, so on Friday, maybe it's not firing as frequently as hot.
You might slow down a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. So I see it's 6:30. I'd like to get to the Concom meeting. Something I'd like to pay attention to.
Are
So,
they doing the bylaw tonight, Steve?
well, that's part of it, but also supposedly some neighbors of ours who have chickens.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
supposed to be on the agenda.
The roosters on the Concom agenda?
That's what they said. Am I wrong?
I
What,
don't know.
what would it be on?
I'm
Said
just
so.
curious.
Pardon?
I was just curious. So can you hear the roosters from your house?
Occasionally. Yeah, we're only like there's a brook that runs alongside of our property and goes up through their property. So it's, we're down the hill by a block. It's all treed. You don't see it, but let me see what the
There's nothing on the agenda, so.
I just didn't understand why that would be on the Concom agenda.
I think it's it was.
oh, I'm
scheduled-
sorry.
It was rescheduled.
Select board.
Yes, rescheduled to the select board.
Oh, wait a minute. This is an old one. This is last week.
Yeah, but they didn't get to it because someone wasn't there, so they're gonna do it again the next meeting, they said.
Town council was unavailable, so that'll be when she's available.
Okay, so it's not, this is I hate that when those posts come out and they're a week old. Hey, forget that.
Remind you, okay.
Sorry. Okay, well, it sounds like we should wrap up,
Yeah, and
Should-
maybe next time we can,
but the question is there any resolution? So you're saying we need to move ahead with the quote that we already have from Gail to prepare the school for the paint and trim work?
I thought we were going to, the three of us were going to meet Friday, review plans
Okay,
at the school, and then next meeting, we'll have a discussion about that. Does that
Okay.
sound like?
Concur.
I just
Yeah.
didn't
We're
want to
done?
be on the wrong page.
No, that's, we need to go over it first, and we do the scope, not them.
And you're gonna do that on Friday.
Friday at 2:00.
At the beginning of this meeting, there was an email I found that Cole sent on Veterans Day, the holiday, when I wasn't here. So I forwarded that to you at the beginning of the meeting. And
What
it's
is-
Cole's report. So for the first stage, for the first part of
Yeah.
the work.
Okay.
Did we ever get a copy of the final report?
I think that's it.
I think this is it. It's a very long report, Jeff. I'll get it printed for us.
Oh, I see. Facade evaluation report.
Yeah, it's yeah, $359,000. So,
359,000 to do what?
uh,
Lighting?
I'd have to, oh, maybe this is I'd have to look. I just looked at the first number and came up with that. Maybe that
Well,
was,
last time in the draft, it was 251,000 plus 64.
right, yeah, no, I the first number I saw and I wrote down, this is the roofing contract. He just gave us a copy of the final roofing contract, the final roofing draft.
Yeah, the
Okay.
base bid option siding and trim repairs 241,500.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah,
clad
that-
existing wood trim fascia below roof line with PVC cladding. That was adding 64,200.
right. That's how I came up with the,
So just over 300.
right. But I can't find in my documents that I ever got a final copy of the report. All I can find is drafts. We get a final copy?
I think this is it, isn't it?
Thought you said it was the roof.
No,
that's
this is the siding.
This is
Becky
the
sent it to us,
elementary
Jeff.
Facade evaluation report.
right. We have two reports on
it.
the email from Becky. One is an A1A something or other for the roof, and then the first one is the Gale Associates one. So when you open your email, you'll be
It's
able to
20
read it.
pages, Jeff.
Okay,
Evaluation of the exterior wall cladding, trim, and associated components at Shutesbury Elementary School.
okay.
Okay.
All right, then I'll see you guys Friday at 2.
Okay,
Friday
mo-
at 2.
motion
And
to end the meeting.
if I'm not there too, I'll be there, because I'll still be doing something associated with the library.
Yep.
So Becky, are you going to be up there tomorrow?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I might stop by and get a set of those drawings to look
Oh,
at
great.
before.
Great. I'll
Okay,
be-
Okay,
just a quick
so-
question for the Friday, 2 p.m. Jeff, will you be inside the building at all?
no,
I don't think so.
Okay, I just need to alert the school that you're gonna be there because school isn't out till 3:15.
okay.
Oh, okay.
So if you're
We'll
poking
wait-
around the
We
outside,
wait till- Should we
I
wait
wanna-
till 3:15? Is it best if we wait till 3:15?
No, at 3:15, it's already we're starting to
dark.
lose light. We should go at 2. I mean,
you
since we're
guys,
not
you
going in the
guys will be
building.
fine. It's,
Yeah.
they had roofers that they were fine with all,
Okay, yeah.
it'll be fine. But if I don't let them know, they're gonna be calling, well, they know, they know you guys better now, so
Yeah.
they might not, but I just,
No, it's good to keep them
for
in.
courtesy, I should notify them.
I'll wear my chairman badge.
And you all need uniforms now.
I'll wear my hard hat. There we go.
Forms will be in the next budget.
Right.
The aerial thing that we're gonna be getting, the
The drone.
drone, yeah.
Okay, so
Hard hats.
do I hear a motion that we close this meeting?
A motion, we close the
I hear a
meeting.
second.
I'll second.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
I.
Elmas, aye. Thank you, everyone. Meeting closed at 6:37.
Good
See you in
night.
2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Becky. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.